So, the long-awaited review is coming out now. It's been a few days since season 6 has released, and I wanted to let all my thoughts and opinions simmer. I also wanted to hear other people's thoughts and opinions on some of the things that have been released. No, I will not be talking about the Battle Pass. I will not be talking about the patch notes either, although I am upset with Ana nerfs. So just leave her alone, okay? Just leave Ana alone, okay? I need people to just leave her alone, because she's gonna go to the point where she's unplayable, and I'm gonna absolutely flip a brick. But I'm glad that they fixed Kiriko's TP. Those are the only things that I'll probably talk about. So those are the things that I won't be talking about. I won't be talking about anything in the shop, none of the skins, anything like that. If you want to buy stuff, buy stuff. If you don't want to buy stuff, don't buy stuff. I will be talking about Illari, the newest support hero. I will also be talking about Flashpoint and the maps that come with Flashpoint. I will also be talking about Invasion and my opinions on Invasion. If you want to skip to basically my opinions on Invasion, timestamp is down below. Just go to that. Get out of here, go, be free. But let's start out with Illari. Illari is our latest support, and quite frankly, I think she is really cool. I like the way she plays. I like her movement ability. Her ult, I'm still trying to figure out a little bit, but I think I'm gonna get the hang of it soon. I'm glad that we have 2 weeks before she releases into competitive. She has some really strong healing, especially coming from her healing pylon. I feel like she's gonna warrant a lot of flanking from people, from Tracers, Genjis, DPSs, things like that. She's gonna warrant a lot of flanking with that healing pylon, or she's just gonna do the flanking herself. So yeah, I've already seen people do like flanking videos and things like that. She does give out a lot of DPS. I do like that you have to wait for it to charge up. Even if it is a little frustrating trying to get that extra shot in before before your target disappears. Sorry, before your target disappears, and it's just like, come on, and you like are so impatient to let it charge and everything like that. I have experienced that. I think that's pretty neat. But overall, I think she's a really cool hero. I think she's an amazing addition. I like her kit. I like the way she plays and everything like that. She's a very, very cool character. I'm very happy with this support hero that we have been given, and I can't wait to learn more about her or see her more in Overwatch lore and things like that. There has been a short that has been released on her. I don't know if anyone has seen it or not, but go check it out. I know I'm probably like a few days behind, but tragic backstory, and we love tragic characters here on this channel. So yeah, overall, really happy with this character. Really, I don't want to say that she was better than Lifeweaver, but we all are probably thinking that she's better than Lifeweaver and his launch, because she's just come out really strong. I think they just like overdid it with her because they saw what happened with Lifeweaver and were like, oh, Lifeweaver came out really weak, so maybe we should make her super strong. So that's probably why she's super strong at the moment. I 100% believe that she's going to be nerfed in the mid-season patch. But yeah, overall happy with her. Glad that the devs made something so cool and everything like that. Next, let's talk about Flashpoint and the maps. Firstly, I'll talk about the maps. The maps are huge. They're well designed. There's a lot of corridors, a lot of places to flank and things like that. A lot of spaces to go to. It's really cool. Both maps are really cool, well designed. I like them a lot. But I have issues with the actual Flashpoint game. Flashpoint, I'm going to be comparing it to another game called Halo Infinite. I don't know if you guys know it or not. It's probably just this tiny indie game. Anyway, but in Halo Infinite, there's this game called Hardpoint, which is very similar to Flashpoint. And to be honest with you, I prefer Hardpoint over Flashpoint, and it might be because every time I have played Flashpoint, I have lost drastically. Very, very few times have we like made a comeback and just end up losing anyway, or we just basically get curb stomped. I don't think I've ever won a Flashpoint game yet in the time that it's been out. I'm not kidding. If I could pull up the stats on how many Flashpoint games I've won, it would probably be like 1 or 0. 1 or 0. But mostly I think the reason why I'm not liking it so much is probably because so many people are playing it from many different ranks, and so the teams are very unbalanced. I've also heard that in arcade you don't really get like a balanced team or like an MMR team or anything like that. So there's that. But as of right now, I'm not really enjoying the Flashpoint game too much. I love the maps. The maps are amazing. The design for them is awesome. I think the game mode just reminds me so much of 2CP2 as well. You capture one point, then you go to another point, and then you go to another point. It's kind of like that a little bit. That's probably why I don't like it, because I hated 2CP. Anyway, but just a little comparison of like Hardpoint and Flashpoint. I do prefer Hardpoint over Flashpoint, so it's just bias, most likely, because I've lost every time. So now that the two small things are out of the way, let's get into the big boys, which would be the Invasion Pack that has released with Season 6, the thing that everyone has been so hyped up about, so excited for, and let down about as well. I won't lie, I'm not gonna avoid that, but yeah, let's get into it. So for starters, let's get the littler guy out of the way. They have released a King's Row Underworld mission, which is very much like the Archives mission that you get for King's Row, back in like way back, back in like 2018, 2019 when they were releasing Archive stuff, and it's all right. There's not much difference. You go around, you collect batteries, and that's really about it, to turn on a robot, and then that robot helps you, and then you escort or just go to another place, hold down the fort, and, you know, do all that. But it's very similar to the other King's Row mission, which, you know, is a little disappointing, because I thought we would get more area of King's Row, not just a little spot of King's Row. I thought we would be able to, you know, actually go around more of the city and things like that, but we didn't get that, and I'm sad. Just like overall, it's meh. What we got was meh from that, and that's my opinions, and that's how I feel. Replayability for it is just also meh. I think the Archives missions has always been meh. Like, replayability for it, it's not really like super excited or anything, because you know what's gonna happen already. You just, like, if you want to make it harder, you just go to the harder things and like the harder levels and whatnot to just make it harder and things. But it's just meh. That's all I have to say. Now let's get into the Invasion Pack, where you actually had to pay money in order to play their story mode or their campaign or whatever it is that you wish to call it. So the pack is $15 for all 3 of the missions. Now, I can't say one thing. I am very happy. I was happy to hear that you only had to pay $15 for all of them. Not only that, but you do get Overwatch coins as well for spending some money on that as well. So that's a little bit of a bonus, a little bit of an incentive to also buy it. But it's in my honest opinion, it's gonna be a little hard to talk about, because be real with you, I don't know if you can hear my dog panting in the background, sorry. To be real with you, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed playing the missions. I had a lot of fun playing the missions. I had fun hearing all the voice lines. I was very giddy, excited, and everything like that. Seeing what the team has put together and what they've worked on these last couple of years is pretty neat and pretty cool. And they've always done a solid job with their animation and their voice acting and the way that things are played and whatnot. I think they did a pretty good job with that. I did run into one bug during my first initial playthrough where like there was a slicer or a skitter or whatever that like fell through the bridge in Toronto and continued to damage the ferry, and we were like, how do we get rid of it? And luckily we had like Sojourn there to kill it, because she had to use her little orb thing or whatever to get rid of it. That's a bug that I found. But overall, the experience that I had with it was great. And I enjoyed it. Just to like play it through the first time, I enjoyed it a lot. You could tell to certain areas where I like got excited to see Briggs save Lucio with her whip shot, obviously, or just like seeing Brig being animated and seeing all the other characters being animated. Seeing everyone pull up in Toronto was pretty cool. Just be like, yo, the Avengers are here, everything like that. That's pretty neat. And to be honest with you, I liked it a lot. But was it worth the $15? To me, I think you paid about $5 for the coins and then $10 for the actual campaign and things like that. Or story mode missions. And you don't even get the full story. You still have to wait for more missions to be released. And that kind of, that kind of sucks to hear. Because, I don't know if you guys know this, but back in 2019 or 2020, they released the Rio mission. And the Rio mission looks exactly the same as it did in 2023 when they released it. It looks exactly the same. The only thing that you don't know is if Lucio survives or not, and as well as them taking out certain skill tree stuff, as well as what else? Well as taking out booster packs and things like that, extra health or whatever crates, in the 2019 playthrough versus the 2023 playthrough. So it really makes you question what they were really working on if you have to wait longer for the other stuff. They were probably working more on PvP. They probably are putting a lot more of their resources into PvP, which, that's where most games are getting their getting their revenue and things like that. That's where they're getting most players and whatnot. It happens in Call of Duty. Not a lot of people play the campaign for Call of Duty anymore, probably because the last couple campaigns suck from Call of Duty. Halo Infinite, not a lot of people bought the $60 Halo Infinite campaign. I don't believe I did, because I love Halo Infinite and I love the campaign. And I think the same thing for here is that they also didn't buy much of the story mode, because you could just look it up on YouTube and watch it and get the full story from there. I think that story mode missions and campaigns are falling out of the video game picture right now. A lot of companies are focused on multiplayer right now because that's what keeps the game alive. That's what sells the game. Now, you can argue that but God of War did really well. Dead Space, the remake, did really well and things like that. And those are loved franchises. I'm not going to argue and say, but you play it once or whatever. You can play them again. You replay them all the time. I've replayed the Halo campaign all the time. But how often do you hear God of War now? How often do you hear Elden Ring now? Things like that. You want to have your game continuously being talked about and things like that and whatnot. To keep it alive. Or I could just be crazy and, whatnot. But at the same time, there is a positive to just releasing a completed game. Other studios, release a completed game, please. like God of War and the remake and Doom Eternal and things like that are just campaigns, and you get all this stuff once it releases. You don't have to wait for a DLC. You don't have to wait for anything else. You don't have to, you get the whole game and you only pay $60 for it and whatnot. I'm sorry, I'm going off on a little tangent. I should get back on track. But anyway, all I'm saying is that it feels like story mode missions are falling out of the niche, or just falling out of the video game world nowadays. Even though I am a big story mode and campaign player, that's what it feels like. I feel like a lot of people are going towards multiplayer, focusing on their multiplayer and everything like that, and that's fine. But the big question, like I've said, is it worth getting the invasion pack? as someone who plays the game casually, who has played the game casually for the last 3 or 4 years, all through the Overwatch content drought and everything like that. It's sad to say, but I don't really think it is. I don't think it is worth getting the invasion pack. Sorry if you already did, but I don't think it's worth it. I do not think it's worth it. What you get out of it is great and cool, but the replayability for it is just like meh. I think that's like a flaw that Overwatch has always had, is that their replayability for their story mode missions is just meh. Like nothing different changes. You get the same enemies, you get the same things, you get the same story beats and whatnot. And that's how it is with campaigns and story modes, is that it's just the same. So, yeah. I think that the story mode, the invasion missions, all that came too late. This is my opinion. I think it came too late. Because if the Rio mission back in 2019 was basically ready to be played, because the streamers played it back in 2019, and then you released it in 2023 where nothing has changed, then you could have released it back in 2019 with Overwatch, with regular Overwatch. You wouldn't even have to make a whole new game. And that's the whole point of Overwatch 2, right? Is to have an amazing story mission, story mode missions and things like that. But the missions are good. Don't get me wrong. I loved what I played, but it's not worth it. It wasn't enough. And it's like really sad to say, because I want this game to succeed just like everyone else who plays Overwatch. They want the game to succeed. So it's just hard to... It's hard to say. Because I always want to try and be positive and say, oh, well, you know, they did a good job and everything like that, which they did, but they're 3 years too late. They're 3 years too late. You could have released the Rio mission back in 2020. You could have released the Toronto mission back in 2021. You could have released the Ironclad mission back in 2022. Or you could have released all 3 of them back in 2019 if they were all ready. And you could have just added more stuff to the game continuously, and you wouldn't even have to, you know, make it free to play. You could just have transitioned from saying, hey, we're no longer doing loot boxes, we're just going to add a battle pass or anything like that. And I know a lot of people are going to say, well, I would rather have the battle pass or the loot boxes rather than the battle pass and everything like that. But that wouldn't garner any money, and then you would still have to pay for the invasion packs because they have to get money somehow, which is sad. Playing a game isn't gonna, you know, I don't think it keeps it alive. I think you have to spend money on it in order for it to stay alive. But it's just sad because it's great to play, but it's too late. It's too late for all of it. I think people have moved on from the story mode missions and things like that. People aren't as invested in the story anymore. I think people have decided, it's like, I think no matter what they make, it's not going to be good, and I'm just going to move on, and that's it. I'm going to get my, you know, my lore elsewhere, off the internet, off of like groups, things like that, Discord servers, brainstorms, things like that and whatnot, rather than getting it from the actual source, which is so sad because they did a good job. They did do a good job. And it's just disappointing. It's heartbreaking, really. I do think that if the Rio invasion mission was ready to be shipped out in 2019, they should have just shipped it out in 2019. And I think they realized that as well when they couldn't do everything that they wanted to do. They're like, oh crap, we're taking on something much bigger and we're losing people when we need more people to be working on this game to make it what it is. And I think that's why Jeff Kaplan left too, is because he wanted to make something that we could all enjoy, and it just didn't come to fruition, and that's why he left. He had some discrepancy or disagreements with, you know, higher ups and people like that, and he was just like, fine, so be it. You guys take it in the direction you want to take it in, and I'm gonna go somewhere else. And that's how it went. The game went in the direction that Jeff Kaplan didn't want it to go in, and right now it's barely holding on. Story mode wise, I think in multiplayer wise, it's doing fine. It's doing great, honestly. Thriving. But the story modes were too late. That's all I really have to say. That's my opinion. There are some other things that are missing from the story mode as well. I've heard that Farah and Mercy don't even interact in the Toronto mission. I heard that Diva and Lucio don't interact at all in the mission as well. And they've bragged and boasted about having, what, like 20,000 new voice lines recorded. Is that throughout the entire game? Or is that just through the campaign and whatnot? Or the story mode, sorry. Not only that, but the latest story mode mission has been delayed to season 10. And I just don't know. I don't know how to, like, find some kind of... I want to tell you guys. It's like, no, guys, it's great. It's good. It's amazing. It's awesome. When in all honesty, it's good, but it's not good enough. It's here, but it's too late. You know? Like you're already drowning in water and you've already drowned and the boat comes. Like, you're already dead. But the boat's here. The boat's here to recover your body. But not bring you back to shore alive. So, anyway, those are my honest opinions about Invasion. I love it. It's too late, though. I don't even think it'll recover or anything like that. It's just too late. So yeah. But do tell me what your thoughts and opinions are on Invasion, if you played it or if you even watched it or anything like that. I would love to hear it. Tell me about your experiences with the new hero as well as with the new map. I would love to hear that and everything. Tell me everything, honestly, because Season 6 is a massive update. I think overall the multiplayer is thriving. I think story mode, story mission wise, they flopped. They dropped the ball, really. Even though they did put a lot of effort into it, probably. They did. I think they flopped and dropped the ball. So, yeah. Other than that, I wish you all good luck. I wish you all a good day. Good luck, have fun, enjoy. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. And I also have a Twitch. Go follow me on Twitch if you wish. I usually stream Overwatch or a lot of FPS games there. It has been a few days since I've last streamed. I usually stream on the weekdays, but it's been getting pretty busy over on my life, considering that the review has been a few days late now and everything like that. But we won't talk about that. Anyway, thank you guys so much. Have a good time, good day, good luck, have fun, enjoy, don't die, all those good things. Live the life the way you want to live it, and then, yeah, goodbye.